Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. My beautiful mothers, my beautiful mothers of the human race. Yes, I'm going to continue regarding the chaos both in countries like Iraq, Iran, and then we cross over into Africa and the Americas, whereby when I'm interpreting this very, very holy ayah, we are going to look again very, very, I would like my mothers to focus and look at your, what does, when I say integrity, what does your beauty and your beauty to integrity or the beauty to life means to you? A mother who carried the child in her womb for 9 months. And my little, the girl child, whom you are preparing to take on the mantle, who has been honored by a holy divine task. And that task is to make the continuation of the beauty of life on this planet, to keep it in a very supreme and excellent, beautiful well-being of every human being in future generations, future generations' investment to health. So with that, I did have to look at Iran, the protest in Iran, the shooting of one of my mothers in America, in the streets of America, and so many other incidents which have taken place today around the world. Because I don't have enough time to watch and present each and every whatever on each and every interpretation, each and every incident that has happened over Mother Planet Earth in one whatever. But all I can say, whatever you've come across, these are what you call, if you are to be, for instance, if you are to put it in the other side of the wall, if you say you are in a hospital, can you imagine you are in a hospital? Whereas in the other side of Iran, there are people in the morgue, men slaughtered, or women, or whatever, children. In America too. In America, and some other places, there are people who have been hit by natural catastrophes. When I looked at my whatever here, I looked, I saw there was going to be a little bit of rain in Europe, not very heavy rain, moderate and very beautiful atmosphere, and snow, beautiful snow, not just the heavy storms. So with that, we are looking at the human race and the mother. My mothers now, I did put the boys out of the picture, the men out of the picture, because I don't want to communicate with them anymore. The only way I can communicate with them, either by I entice them. I say, yes, my boys, can you do one thing? You either become cleaners of the streets of this planet, clean and remove all the weapons you littered here and there. Remove every single weapon, nuclear weapons, assault rifle, however small you think are weapons, remove it from the streets of this planet. If you are to be in Egypt today, if you are to be on the streets of Egypt today, and that is in, let's say, Cairo, you see my presence in the upper sky. You see my presence when I'm talking to the people on Mother Planet Earth, because at one time, in one of my interpretations of the scared verses of the Holy Quran, I've always referred to Egypt as one of the places where what men call civilization, the great civilization began. Yes, on this day of January 12th, 2020, I would say to the people of Egypt, those who are in Egypt, what's the time in Egypt now? It should be around 2, 3 o'clock or something like 2 o'clock, I think. That my people of Egypt, while I'm saying that, I'll continue my way to the Americas. The Americas, the Europe, and as I said today, there'll be a little moderate rain, and in southern part of Central America, or snow, or something like that. Not very heavy snow. However, that is out of the picture, because Mother Nature, me as Mother Nature, have tried very much to communicate in a language that maybe makes sense to some human beings, to those who have sense, who look to Islam as one of the most and the only most holy, beautiful religion in which there are proof and evidence, practical living proof and evidence. One of those practical living proof and evidence are the clouds. The clouds you look at when you look in the upper sky, or on the horizon, or on the canopy. When you look at the sun in the sky, that's proof and evidence. When you look at your own dining tables, kitchen, what have you got in your kitchen? That's when I say plant trees and vegetables and all these things, they all are counted in my main interpretations of the most scared verses, ayahs of the Holy Quran. Why? Because in every plant that you men plant, or as a celestial obligation, you plant a tree of a fruit of a seed, you plant a seed of a tree you have eaten, it will bear fruits for your future generation children. As you plant that seed, it will become an inheritance. A guaranteed inheritance. Other than the back numerals may mean nothing whatsoever. It means nothing, because some of you men, you die, and the children have to take years trying to obtain what you call their inheritance from either bank numerals that they have to ask you questions, because these are gambling, whatever. What I'm telling you is that when you plant a seed of a fruit you've eaten, it's guaranteed. It guaranteed is explained in Surat Kaf. In Surat Kaf, I think when Musa goes with a wise man over land, they walk along. As they're walking along, the man comes along a falling wall and say, we have to put this wall together. So with that, Allah tells human beings that this restructuring of your curriculum, your way, what you used to call your way of life, has been a liability on a scale that even before it happened, it was already spoken of in the Holy Quran through Surat Kaf. Through Surat Kaf. When Allah speaks of Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, so a prophet either, there's a friend of Allah who men used to, so that is when these ayahs are interpreted. I do interpret them in order, because I told you today, the 12th of January 2026, the time where it's around 12:30, and that is in Egypt. It's around 2 o'clock or something like that, approaching 2 o'clock. In that, I did want to tell the Egyptians that if you look up in the upper sky, there's a signature of me. A signature of me, if not pointing right at one of the what you call the Great Pyramid in Cairo. It is pointing right direct in with great precision in that great tomb, in which they call the Great Pyramid of Egypt. That is to tell you that these ayahs, which I do interpret, they have proof and evidence, of which I don't want to dispute with the human beings. I just want to tell you, human beings, life is a religion, and that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam. If you men think that you conjectured ways to suit your desires, unless in those ways you recruited army after army of drunken or men on what you call the curriculum, a bloodshed liability curriculum that manufactured tons and tons and tons of weapons and tons of theologies that destroyed, that decimated the beauty of life of human beings, that of human beings. With that, I said to my mothers of the human race, I do present the proof and evidence that you are honored by Allah, the most holy, glorified Almighty Allah. And with that honor, I say holy divine honor. And the divine task. The honor includes you guiding your children that you carry for 9 months not to ever deviate. Because if I'm standing right pointing in the tomb, what you men call the Great Pyramid, when I stand right at the top of it, up in the outer, whatever, and I say, that is a tomb in whatever is what you call a Kabul. A tomb is a Kabul. You don't know why we left it there for so many whatever, but I'm pointing it and say, be reminded that men who take whatever, who gamble with the beauty of life, they can easily be either taken to a dimension which in whatever, in some whatever Allah says, do look at that tomb as a reminder. We left it there as a reminder that men do not ever go out of your boundaries and cause mischief or corruption to life. If life becomes an enemy to any one of you on Mother Planet Earth, then that is something that is very difficult for men to wander around and say, some of you, that's when you ask, why was I born? Why was I created? Why was I born? So that way, I say to my my mothers, tell your children and guide them to the beautiful religion, especially you mothers in Sudan, the mothers of Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, all of that corridor, the western Rift Valley, all the way to Mozambique, through Tanganyika, Lake Tanganyika, all the way to, do not desecrate the beauty of life. Life is a religion, and that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam. That very, very most holy, beautiful religion is Islam. The people of Sudan, my mothers, for centuries, you thought you are pure, you are Muslim. But your Muslim application to the beautiful religion of Islam was contaminated with fitna. Fitna, which meant that men of my mothers in Sudan, they have a deficit within their blood records. In Sudan is the only country around the world which has the highest blood disorders in terms of blood disorders in mothers. The highest percentage of blood disorders on the entire planet. And yet, these are mothers who say, we are Muslims. If your blood testifies against your beauty, that you are against the religion that constructs every muscle tissue on your face and your internal organs, and that whatever is red and whatever and is whatever is blood, and your main problem in Sudan is blood, they know that there was something that you did put wrong. What was it? That's when you became arrogant. Arrogant. Thinking that you know the Quran more than what you should have known. Okay, I switch off. Someone is pouring very dirty things in front of the Holy Quran. I have to switch off and wind up. I'll come back when I get a better place to interpret this ayah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Yes, I don't know what this guy.